If you're into real-time strategy games, you're likely familiar with the Homeworld series, which first took flight back in 1999. And many moons later, we're gearing up for parts unknown in Homeworld 3. And here to make those parts known to us right now is Homeworld co-creator Rob Cunningham. Rob, how you doing?
I'm well, thanks. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. Now, let's kick this off. Now, Homeworld returning represents the return of, I would have to say, one of the most iconic space strategy games of all time. How is today's technology kind of like allowing your team to truly bring Homeworld back the way you first envisioned it?
Back in the day, and I'm talking like 2000, 2001, we had dreams of what we would love to do with the fantasy and the sci-fi, style and world. And it was simply impossible. It just couldn't be done. So we ended up putting stuff into the backdrops and the skyboxes and stuff like that. But now with Unreal and the technology we've got, we're totally able to bring that into the game and just really give it the depth and structure that we dreamed of back in those days.
Homeworld 3 is a continuation of the story you first set out to explore many years ago. Like, what can you tell us about the expansive universe we'll get to explore in the campaign?
So the campaign is it's obviously a sequel. So the campaign is the continuing of events after Homeworld 2. So at the end of Homeworld 2, the player is shown there's a huge discovery of a hyperspace gate network across the entire galaxy. So travel could be easy and ubiquitous for everyone, and it was sort of billed as this glorious golden age of Sajet that was going to take place. And as is often the case, what appears to be wonderful turns out to not be quite so wonderful. And there's darkness and problems, of course, to deal with as the story develops.
Now with that, with that knowledge that we have now, what key elements can you kind of tell us that'll, I guess, help us understand the narrative direction moving forward in Homeworld 3?
So the hero of the Homeworld franchise from Homeworld 1 to Homeworld 2 was Karen Sajet. She was fleet command and the sort of mind of the mothership, and she was the navigator of the mothership, and she was mentally plugged in with cables into her head into the hyperspace core of the mothership, which allowed her to travel vast distances and so forth. Homeworld 3 takes place about 100 years after Homeworld 2, and the hero from Homeworld 2, Karen Sajet, has been lost in space, and a great problem is taking place in the galaxy. Gates we're having all sorts of catastrophic problems. So the player is introduced to a new character called Imogen Sajet from the same kith, which is the science kith in the fiction. And she's the sort of successor to Karen, and the new mission to go and deal with the problem is sent, and that's the player's job, to deal with the problem.
One way to deal with the problem is, of course, with combat. Now, we got fleet combat. The fleet combat system, I have to say, it looks breathtaking in this next installment. From what I've seen so far, what can we expect to be, kind of like the same and different in Homeworld 3 combat-wise?
So players can expect the same basic staples of fleet combat with the different classes of ships, from the strike craft up through the capital ships into the super capital ships, and the same sort of ballistics and unit pairing that was established in the previous games. But new to the franchise with Homeworld 3 will be all sorts of terrain-based gameplay. So because we have these giant structures in space, huge megaliths, giant ice shelves, all sorts of incredible geometry in the level. It's no longer just empty 3D space. Now we have, cover as a mechanic. There's hiding as a mechanic. There's, bottlenecking and unit filtration through different apertures and cavities in the terrain. So it's much more interesting and dynamic as a fleet combat game.
Now with that knowledge, I'm pretty sure, Rob, you probably have seen what some of the fans have been saying online. I know I do a lot of trolling online, and fans have been asking on Reddit, will Mothership management be more like Deserts of Karak, or will they be able to kind of like specialize, customize Mothership in Homeworld 3, like over arcs and campaigns? Like, what can you tell us about that?
So the short answer is there will not be Mothership customization like there was in Deserts, but there will still have that Mothership progression, you know, and ship production progression over the course of the campaign.
I'm super excited for Homeworld 3. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yes, now this game sounds, dare I say, out of this world. Yes, it does. 2023 can't come anytime sooner for us to hop on into Homeworld 3. Now we're gonna keep the gaming goodness coming with more, so don't go anywhere.